Hi guys, I'm outside a cottage called Dial Cottage here in Killingworth. Smoking my Cobbit pipe, and in it I've got some Quiet Nights tobacco, and I'm here especially to record a VR video for Aristocob's 2017 Corncob November National Month video competition. It's a special celebration of the corncob pipe. This cottage was lived in by a man called George Stephenson. You probably remember him for his work with the steam engine. But there's far more to this man than meets the eye. He came here when he got married and his first son was born. It's a small cottage, and there's a notice board that says all about him. He was a remarkable man in that he was illiterate up until he was 18 years old. He couldn't read or write. He had a thick Geordie accent, and had problems later on in life because of that accent. Behind me is a coal truck on some rails, because this is a mining area. The Killingworth mines were around here. They were where George worked. Originally as an engineer and that kind of thing. But he was so good that there'd been several mine explosions, and there was a competition to develop a lamp that would be a safety lamp. And Stephenson invented a safety lamp. Now we all know Davy's lamp, but Stephenson's lamp was before Davy's. He demonstrated it in the mine, where there was a leakage of damp gas, and his lamp stood up to the test. But when he went down to London for the competition, the parliamentarians, the politicians and that, didn't believe that such a coarse man with such a thick accent was capable of introducing anything. And there were various complications, but eventually it was decided that Stephenson had invented the lamp, and he was given £1,000, where Davy was given £2,000. Davy was convinced that Stephenson had robbed him of the glory of the lamp, and until the day he died thought that Stephenson was a thief. But he wasn't. And whilst Davy's lamp was used everywhere else in the country, Stephenson's lamp was used here in Northumbria, and it was known as the GEORDIE lamp. And there is a theory that some people believe that's where the name Geordie came from. George Stephenson, Geordie Stephenson. The other theory is that it came from the King George. Nobody really knows, but I like the idea that it came from Geordie, from George Stephenson and his Stephenson's lamp. He, as I said, was a remarkable man. He later developed the steam engines from his work on the steam engines in the mine that kept the mine clear of water, that virtually lifted the trucks up and that kind of thing. And all round here are ways where the trucks would run. But I chose his cottage to come to because it has much more of a history about it. When he was here, they had a daughter, and unfortunately she died and is buried in a local churchyard not far away in the village of Forest Hall, St Bartholomew's Church. And that's where his wife is buried when she died. Stephenson invented the rocket and worked on various other engines, and he worked with his son. And he had to work with his son because London wouldn't accept Stephenson. George, they'd accepted the son because he was sent to a public school and spoke proper, whereas George was a rough man that appeared to be uneducated, but he wasn't. He was self-taught, a brilliant engineer. The whole time that he was here, he was working for the safety of the miners. He was working out whether the steam engine could be used on tracks in the same way that the coal trucks were used. And it's from him that the British Railways, the railway system started, and the railways around the world. And the width of his carriages is the standard width of the railways around the world. There was a wider width by the Great Western Railway, which was far more comfortable, but it meant that when they came up to a Stephenson's track, they had to lift the carriage off the bogie and put it onto a separate bogie on the Stephenson track. I know you said sort of only spend 4 minutes, and I've spent more than that, but I hope that's what you wanted. I'll be sort of doing more later on about Stephenson, maybe in one of my videos. Anyway, I'm going to stop it there because they're coming out of school, and some of the schools around here, as you heard,